Alright students, what I wanted to do real quick was go over with you. Last night, unfortunately, I was not able to make it to class, and what I had planned was to go over the file system hierarchy standard for Linux and a quiz that you took a couple weeks ago. So let's go through that real quick. What is the purpose of the opt directory? And basically that's where your optional add on applications is stored. Basically any information on any applications that you may install and upgrades or whatever the case may be, additional packages are stored in that particular directory. Now, are you ever going to get any of these types of questions on a job interview? I really can't guarantee you whether you can or you will, but I will point out a couple that you probably will. And here's one that you may be asked at some point in time. What is the purpose of the bin directory? It's basically your binary essential command libraries. Your binary executables needs to be available for your different single users as you're using the Linux file system. So that's one that somebody may ask you about. Just say that that's the binary directory. It's probably enough for a job interview. What is the purpose of the boot directory? Pretty much self-explanatory. That's where the bootloader files are for the kernels. There's a few services that are put in there that are automated on boot up. Your mapping files, your kernel configuration, that's where your RAM disk is held. So there are some pretty essential things in there. If that ever becomes corrupted, you're probably going to have a bad day in the IT world. What is the purpose of the lib directory? That's your libraries. Are similar to dynamic link libraries that you find in Windows. And also we have kernel modules that are in there. And sometimes there are some that are put in subfolders, the sbin folders. It depends on how the programmer set everything up. What is the purpose of the MNT directory? That's basically your mount. That's where temporary mounted files like USB sticks and network file systems are stored. What is the purpose of the user directory? That is the Unix system resources or user directory. It's a secondary hierarchy. Read-only user data contains a majority of the multi-user utilities and applications being used. Does contain some sharing between different peoples and shared data, libraries, and binary applications. What is the purpose of the etc directory? That's your editable text configuration, and that's your global and system-wide configuration files. What is the purpose of the processor directory? That's where your process information, virtual systems, system documentary, kernel files, and text files and things like that are stored. The PC bus information is held there, so maybe if you're applying for like an A+ technicians, they may ask you that as a secondary question on an interview. The var directory, very important. That's where your variable files, the content that you expect to change on a regular basis. Most importantly, that's where your web server, your Apache web server files and folders are held. And the reason for that is you're going to be changing those over time, and you may even give web developers access to that particular folder to get things done. What is the purpose of the SRV directory? That's your service data, site-specific data by different systems or devices, directories of services such as HTTP or FTP. And then the last question was, did you watch the videos? Believe it or not, some people were pretty honest. I appreciate that. You get 10 points for being honest. A lot of you did not watch the videos. This class is a meet in and a hybrid class. So we have the option to meet in if everything's on track, or we can go online. So keep in mind that's why we're kind of flexible when we meet in class. If we're on schedule, then sometimes I give you a day off and then give you work online to do. And then if we're falling a little bit behind, then I may lecture a little bit more the following week to make up for it. So very flexible class style. It works out pretty good, and we get pretty favorable reviews on that style class. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.